The scholars have said Riya is basically doing an act of worship that is meant for Allah, for other people. And that's why the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he told us that this is minor shirk. So you might be asking, why would people do an act of worship that is meant for Allah, for other people? Why would they do that? To gain a benefit from the people, to gain praise from the people, or because they're scared of the people. So for example, let's say you go to the masjid, you put on your best clothes, you grow your beard, and you make your prayers very, very long. Why? Not because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves that you do these acts of worship, but so that people can look at you and say, wow, this guy is so pious, he's such a righteous person. This is the essence of Riya. And the Riya isn't necessarily all the same level. There's actually different levels of severity. And the most severe level is the one that leads you to commit a sin. So for example, and I'm going to give you an example which is really disgusting and it really makes your heart shiver. There's some people out there that they meet someone who's into business, they have a big successful business, and they find out that individual is looking for a business partner. So what do? They pretend they're very, very righteous around them, they remember Allah around them, they lengthen their prayers, they say Qala Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they mention hadith. Why? Because they know he's looking for a business partner that is trustworthy. So that person thinks he's trustworthy and he says, okay, I like you, come, you can be my business partner. And as soon as he gets that leverage, that person who did that Riya then steals from that person and cheats him. That's the most severe type of Riya. The one where you do something just so that you can go and commit a sin at the end of it. That's the worst type of Riya. The second type of Riya is the one where you do acts of worship that is meant for Allah, for other people, to gain a benefit from the dunya. So for example, there's a lot of youth here. If you have a social media account, youth, you know that a lot of people love followers. They love to gain followers. So you guys might create an Islamic reminder, which you think this is going to go viral. And instead of doing it because you want it to go viral to benefit people around the world, you say, I'm going to post this so I can get a big follower account. This is the second level of severity of Riya. When you remove Allah from the picture, when it's meant for Allah in the first place and you do it for the people, that is Riya. Tayyib, what's the third level of Riya? The third level of Riya is when you do something out of fear of the people. So let's say you come to the masjid and you come before the adhan. When the adhan happens, everyone gets up to pray the sunnah, right? If everyone gets up to pray the sunnah and you think, oh, if I don't get up now, people are going to judge me. So then you force yourself to get up. That is the least severe level of Riya, but it is still considered Riya. Okay? So that is basically an introduction of what Riya is. Tell you, what are the cures? The cures of Riya can be split into two sections, theoretical and practical. The theory will help you with the practical. The theoretical cure is to know that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he said, and really pay attention to this hadith, he said, know that if all the nations gathered, every single human being on the face of the planet, not just Grimsby, not just the UK, everyone, they gathered to benefit you, even give you a piece of food. If they all gathered to do that and Allah does not will for it to happen, it will never happen. Likewise, if all the nations, they gathered to harm you, even just give you a small little slap, and they try to do that and Allah does not will, it will never happen. So, oh, so-and-so who is looking for money, oh, so-and-so who is looking for some benefit from the people, know that it all goes back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If Allah does not will for it to happen, it's never going to happen. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, قُلِ اللَّهُمَّ مَالِكَ الْمُلْكِ تُؤْتِي الْمُلْكَ مَنْ تَشَاءُ وَتَنْزِعُ الْمُلْكَ مِمَّنْ تَشَاءُ. That Allah, you're the one who gives whatever you will and you take from whatever you will. You honor who you will and you dishonor who you will. Everything is in the control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when you reflect on this reality, wallahi, it will melt the Riya out of your heart. That's the theoretical cure. Tell you, what's the practical cure? I'll mention two. The first practical cure is profound. Listen to what the scholars have said. The scholars have said, strive to hide your good deeds the same way you strive to hide your bad deeds. So let's say you're sat at home and you commit a sin. Are you going to go around telling everyone, oh, I did this on Facebook, I did this on YouTube? No, you're not going to do that. You're going to be scared if the people find out. The same way you're scared of people finding out about your bad deeds is the same way you should be scared about people finding out your good deeds. Strive to hide them. And it must be said that actually telling people about your good deeds is not necessarily a bad thing. If you're telling people about your good deeds to encourage them to do good or to mention Allah's blessings on you, that's fine. But try and keep it to a minimum and strive to hide those good deeds, inshallah ta'ala. And finally, the second practical cure is to recite Surah Al-Ikhlas very frequently. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ Allahu Samad. Allahu Samad means all depends on Allah, He depends on none, everything goes back to Him, and we need Him in every aspect of our lives. That means Allahu Samad. And so when you're constantly affirming this over and over again, you realize, why am I caring about the people? Why am I doing things, acts of worship for the other people?